This is the part that I always find super funny. I have to make something controversial statement. So here we go.
Get ready, audience.
It wouldn't be the podcast
Here we
if
go.
I didn't.
Go ahead, let it rip, James. Go. Get him.
I hear
Get him.
all of this stupid about you're listing your lead, and it's like the reason why it doesn't work is because I say this as lovingly as possible. But 80% of the agents are like running around. They're trying to just they're trying to get stuff done, so they're not going to make 38 touch points.
You talk about it privately, we talk about it publicly. This is the Real Estate Insiders Unfiltered podcast.
Welcome again to the Real Estate Insiders Unfiltered podcast. I'm your host, Dwiggy, along with Mr. Robinson.
Yes, sir.
Hey, so we are excited because we're kicking off a new series with our new Inman News partnership.
What?
Tell everybody about what this new series is that we're doing each week, because this one was amazing.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of requests from folks over the months that we've been doing this to get more real estate agents and just pick their brain about how they've built what they've built, find the best in the industry, and interview them on what it is like to practice residential real estate as your job. So we've had executives from all over the industry, but now it's time to get to the people who wake up every day and have no idea where the next paycheck's going to come from and are trying to figure out how to do this crazy business we call residential real estate. And we had great guests for the first one ever. James, who are they?
So we had Gary Ashton and Debra Beagle, who are the co-owners of RE/MAX Advantage. They run the Ashton Real Estate Group. But more importantly, what you need to know is they're the number one RE/MAX team in the entire world. They did 1,600 transactions last year, some number like that.
It's crazy. They're in 2 states, over 200 agents. We're very successful in Nashville, Tennessee, and they just opened in I think it was Daytona Beach. So
correct.
Really brilliant operators. You're going to be blown away at what they've done. They've shared as openly as they can. Here are my notes that I took, although this is just scratching the surface of what we covered. Talent acquisition, how they've built their team. They unpack it for you, person by person, role,
department,
responsibility.
everything.
Yeah, how they grow. And as they grow, so does the opportunity. They gave us a master class on lead follow-up and how to approach leads. You'll be shocked at the number of phone calls they make a week, a month. You'll be stunned at the amount of times they follow up. Honestly, yeah. So they really just told you exactly how they convert the leads that they attract. And then another piece that I loved, the power of knowing your numbers across the board. As business operators, they are not just sort of winging it. They are very detail oriented. They have a process. They have a P&L. And they know that there's power in the numbers. This is a great episode. You're going to dig it. Put it in your ears, kids.
Gary, Debra, welcome to the podcast.
What?
We are excited because this kicks off our new episode series with top producing agents and teams across the U.S. Keith, did you want to add something in there?
Yeah, it's fun interviewing CEOs and all that. And, the thousands of MLS executives across the world. But finally, we can get to my tribe, the people who wake up every day, have no idea where their next paycheck's going to come from, and just go to work. So I'm excited about adding in this sort of top agent content because I don't know, people who wake up every day.
This is your core audience. This is the people that watch the show.
This is our tribe and people who wake up every day with no idea where their next paycheck's going to come from, but with absolute certainty of where their next bill is going to come from. Those are my tribe. So I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited for this.
All right. So real quick, and then we'll dive into your background. I'll let you both jump in on this. Just so viewers and listeners know, Gary and Debra are the co-owners of RE/MAX Advantage. They're also leaders of the Ashton Real Estate Group, and they are the number one RE/MAX team in the world. Dun, dun, dun.
Wow. Okay.
I've also known both of them for quite some time. They're amazing human beings. So we got to get them on the show to do this. You are going to get a masterclass on how to build an amazing real estate team that does an amazing amount of production. So I'll shut up. Tell us a little about your guys' backgrounds. Gary, we'll start with you real fast to give us kind of 2 minutes. Then Debra, jump in, and then we'll get to a few rapid fires and dive into the meat of the conversation today. So, Gary, kick us off.
2 minutes. I originally from England, moved to the US in 1990. Me and my dad bought a mom and pop motel, Clearwater Beach. I'd been a professional drummer before that, failed at that kind of thing. And then we sold the motel. We sold the motel in 2000 because I had some interest again from music in Nashville. So my idea, let me move to Nashville. I'll become a professional musician and take over the world. And then when I got to Nashville, I found out not quite as good as I thought it was. Because people here are actually really, really, really talented. And that is no guarantee of success either. But because we'd sold the hotel, I had to do 1031 exchange. So I got my real estate license to do music and real estate. And then it flipped.
Inverted. Huh.
Yeah. And that was moved to Nashville I got my license 2001.
Okay.
Wow. That is there's always these stories, by the way, of just how people get into real estate. And they're always so fascinating when we do these interviews because they're usually completely out of left field on.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
never been, I went to college and got a master's degree in residential real estate. Ever. Like, I've never, ever. Yeah. Debra, tell us about yourself.
So, and it's funny. So I was an environmental chemist and consultant.
Basically right up real estate's alley.
Yeah. So, and then I got into residential real estate about 20 years ago and was a single agent doing it all. And, I think the year I met Gary, I did like 68 transactions by myself without any help. So big on listings and on education and needed to grow and needed help. And that's, I got to meet Gary kind of.
She didn't need any help. I'll tell you that right now. I was the one that needed the help.
No, it was one of those, the chemistry things. So we just, we complement each other very well. And, this journey that we've had to get to where we are today was really recognizing strengths from both sides and knowing that we were just better together. So, but again, 20 years, I'm a voracious learner, 16 designations, and now I'm, I'll be president
bilingual. Don't forget that.
Council in 2027. So with my CRS.
Congrats and thank you for serving. We need really good people in those positions.
We do.
Appreciate that.
I can say this because I'm friends with them real fast and jump in, Keith.
Go ahead.
Basically, I just want to be clear. Debra is the brains behind things. And we're going to ask her a lot of questions today. So Gary's the face. And no, I'm kidding, Gary.
Gary. Gary.
James speaks the truth. I always tell people, I just defer to Mrs. Beagle if you want some smart answers. If you want a joke, I'm your man. But Mrs. Beagle is the brains.
Gary keeps us on rhythm, though, and that's important. That's important. Yeah.
But Gary, he's a true visionary, and he really,
for sure.
He's the ultimate greatest connector. He thinks differently than I think, and that's always good because he keeps bringing stuff up, and I go, dang, I didn't think about that, or I'll bring something up, and it just. It's a good partnership. It's the making of a great team, which is what we're here to talk about today.
Yeah. I've got a question out of the gate, actually. How long did you guys know each other before? Like, there's somebody out there right now. Let me just ask it in the form of a question. So there's somebody out there right now who either is thinking about forming a team or partnering with someone. Did you guys spend a lot of time getting to know each other individually, or did you just meet and be like, hey, let's slam this thing together and see what happens?
Well, I heard about this guy like way back 15 years ago who was doing all of this cool stuff online and generating online leads and had buyer's agents and everything. And I was so fascinated, and people were talking about how it was different and unique and new. And we met at a broker open randomly. So, and it was, and I got his first name and he got mine. And then at the end we exchanged cards, and I looked at it and I was like, dang it, that's the guy who they were all talking about. And the whole day we were running, he was like,
I'll tell you how we met.
The Titans and everything.
Because we were going through this broker open. My car was in the shop. So I told one of the guys, drop me off, pick me up at 5:00. And it was one of those ones where it's progressive. And I knew that I was just going to hitch a ride with a realtor. So this first house,
Gary.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said it was great.
the first house was 18,000 square foot.
It is
massive
7 million.
house.
Holy
$1
moly.
million broker.
So as we were walking around, because I was about to list the general manager of the Titans home. I'd worked with him. It was in this gated subdivision. He was going to sell his house. So I thought I should go to this to meet all the other realtors that are going to be hopefully potential buyers or clients. And it's a big old house, and I kept walking through, and I kept bumping into Mrs. Beagle, and you would say, "Oh, beautiful! Look at this nice ceiling! Oh, fantastic!" And then you go to the next room, and then you bump into her again, bump into her again, and eventually I say, "Are you stalking me? What's going on here?" So we have a little laugh, and then as we're leaving, I knew I had to hitch a ride with somebody. Mrs. Beagle's big black Cadillac pulled up, and I said, "Hey, can I get a ride?"
This is the most.
And Debra was with another
Gary
lady.
Ashton keys to success.
And I think she kind of went, it's a real estate event. It's a gated community. The next house is 50 yards away. How much trouble can I get into with this guy? Okay. And then
who knew?
And then we ended up chatting and talking the rest of the day. It was great.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then what was interesting was he solved pain points for me, and I solved pain. He had 17 buyers or 17 agents. I had 40 some listings, and and that was in the day when we're 10 months of inventory, and I was like, oh, broker, open houses, and
I need listings.
Yeah,
Debra needs buyers.
Yeah, and it was just a compliment and working buyer leads, and and then he just he's a true visionary. So.
He is a connector, and he's.
It was he. Anyway, we all.
By the way, Debra,
I was a single agent. He's 17, and then that first year, I did about 11 million. He was at 78 million. The first year we partnered together. Right after that, we went to 148 million. So when you take all of the recipe for success with a team, being open to finding other people that complement you, that will help you grow, and we made the decision early to be. A destination team, this team that was just going to continue to grow with like-minded people. So
I love it.
The real reason we got together is because the Predators were on a lockout,
which
and
is
Debra
a hockey
had
team.
moved to this other brokerage to be work with the Predators.
Clear.
That's a hockey team in Nashville. For those of you listening,
And so Debra was sat in her office all the time, which was
I had a huge office
with awards everywhere. I didn't have an office. And I would come around every day and go, so are you going to join the team? When are you going to join the team? And I was really kind of half joking, half serious. And then eventually Debra went, this
one
could
thing
work
led
out.
to another. Yeah.
We'll get to the rapid fires, but just to put a pin in that, Debra, the second time I hung out with Gary, he hitched a ride to the airport in an Uber. He's laughing because he knows the story where none of us could fit. So this is a common theme I'm actually getting from it. So,
first tip, folks, write it down, sell your car, and just bum rides to success. That is an approach. All right, let's get through these rapid fires. Great background. Thank you for that. First question, and I will direct this to Gary. Favorite book or podcast this year, or that you gift the most, just something that would impact someone's life, book or podcast.
Oh, favorite podcast? Well, obviously you guys. And then I really like everything that Byron does, with the hot sheet, the knowledge brokers.
Byron Levine, by the way, with bands, just to be clear. Yeah.
And then really, I'm a musician, so I really listen to
music.
Beato, which is my favorite podcast, which is not real estate.
Nice.
That's okay.
All.
What's it called again?
That's a good thing.
I don't know what it's called. His name is Rick, and it's Beato, Beato. But I've been following him for 5 or 6 years, and he's just grown and grown and grown to the point where it's musicians that watch the podcast. And so now he has people like Sting, Brian May, up and coming musicians.
That's awesome. I'll check it out.
And he talks to them in a way that the musicians realize this isn't just a regular interview. This is
familiar
musician talk, which becomes really interesting for me.
So he's got like music insiders unfiltered. I like it.
Yeah.
All right,
That's it.
Debra. So my question for you is, I'm actually asked this a couple ways. So, I put it down as like, what's a daily ritual or habit you can't live without? The other way I can ask it is, what is your morning routine? I'm curious because I know you're operations based and probably a very organized person, because I know Gary is not. So, so tell us, give us your background there. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, and I'm consistent about it every morning. And I know this, I get up, I let the dog out, and then I actually sit on our back porch, and I'm in a space of gratitude. I'm very thankful every day. I start every day with all of the blessings that I have in my life, and I really lean into that. It helps me get through the day. It makes, it just gets my mind in the right mindset. And there isn't anything that we can't accomplish or get through. We just, be thankful for what we have and move forward constantly in a positive mindset. So
That's huge.
I am a glass half full always.
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Not
That's a
empty.
good thing.
So, but that's just something I do every morning. Yep.
Love it.
I love it. Starting the day with gratitude. It's funny. Keith and I were just having this conversation
Earlier this morning.
Really?
That's a fact.
Actually,
Really?
We
Yep.
were.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah.
were.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
I
can
wake up
focus
and I
on
check
the-
my
Email?
my Aura
Immediately?
ring.
Oh, your
No,
Aura ring.
I see how much I've slept.
He does. And then he shares that with me. He goes, I really got a good night's sleep last
Yeah.
night. I'm like, yes, GA. That's great.
Yeah, thanks.
All right,
important.
It is. Sleep's
It is
super
important. Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's get this.
Um,
Let's get this out of the way just for context. Plus, you guys can do a little humble brag and flex for the audience, just a
Yeah.
little. How big is your team? What markets do you serve? 2024 production units and volume. Go ahead. Let them know. Let them know.
So I'm pretty excited too to get to announce this, but in Nashville we have 188 agents, and we have just expanded. We picked up a team in Florida on the east coast of Florida in Daytona Beach. Of
Congrats.
25 agents. So we are at 213 agents in two cities, Nashville and the Daytona Palm Coast, Space Coast area over there. So,
Awesome.
Congratulations.
it's exciting times. We made the announcement yesterday. So, and we
what was your-
staff of 42. We have a staff of 42 in
Okay.
Nashville. So we'll be servicing the Florida team office, Team Zimmerman down in Florida, and the Ashton Real Estate Group here in Nashville.
So just to be clear, roughly 200 agents now combined, roughly right around there. 40. Yeah.
team.
Okay. And then you said 42 people on staff. What was the production, just for context, so we had an idea on volume and units in 2024?
So 2024, we did 1,633 transactions in Nashville, 102 down in Florida, 880 million for Nashville, plus an extra 40
I
million.
like to say just under $1 billion.
Yeah, just under a book. But year to date though, we're crushing. We're at 1,057 transactions and 160 down in Florida, 625 million year to date.
Congratulations.
In this gritty market.
That
I'm
is
calling it
amazing.
a gritty market.
Gritty market. I like it. I
Gritty
like it.
market.
Yeah.
So I have a question about that. Not the gritty market part. I'm very aware of that part.
No, we know.
Yeah. So that's like one staff person for every 5 agents, roughly. I mean, I'm no mathematician, but something like that. So like the two biggest expenses when you're operating an office are salaries and rent. And normally you're seeing people cut salaries or trying to do more with less, blah, blah, blah. 1 to 5, that's a juicy ratio. So like unpack that for us, because someone just spit their coffee out.
Well, the other thing too is, we're team brokerage. We operate as a team brokerage. So, we're probably pushing almost 9% return on revenue. So we're strong financially.
Yeah.
The 42 includes, we have an in-house marketing department. So we have 2 full-time photographers, we listing coordinator. We have 8 ISAs, inside sales agents locally that are licensed.
Doing lead follow-up.
We have transaction assistants.
Well, the ISAs are not lead follow-up. They're actually the first line of attack when a client...
Inbound. Yeah. So they're the lead nurture.
And then we have
the jump.
Yep. And then we have 6 transaction coordinators. So, when we built this to be very strategic in support of our agents, to leverage their time out in the field. So we do a lot of the heavy lifting for them. by setting appointments and then by helping them with the transaction.
You free them up to do what they're best in the world at, which is serve the human being, right? Yep. So let me double click, James, just 30 seconds before you go. So 2 big bits to remember there. One, you run as one big team, and your agents support the team and these staff support the team. The other thing you've done that's really smart, and I don't know if you started here or ended here, but my guess is you started outsourced with a photographer, a local photographer.
You did, and we looked at how much we were spending.
You looked at how much you're spending, and you're like, hey, let's hire a photographer. And you started with outsourced transaction.
Well, the other thing for that is consistency as well, because we have a brand and we want to maintain the brand, and we don't want
level.
Your best friend's a photographer, but they're really not, and then the images are terrible. We wanted to have consistency because we spend so much on promoting that brand and generating the awareness.
Audience, you just heard the 2 different halves of the brain coexisting. You heard one person that talked about we outsourced until it was more expensive than hiring ahead. That's the grounded, business-minded person. Then the artist in the group, the creative in the group is, and we have to maintain a brand standard, and the look and feel is critical.
Debra's we're very aligned on that, actually.
Yeah, no, right. But like that, but what your answers tell you a lot about who you are, right? You both care. Of course you care, but your answers shed light onto who you are. What I want people to hear, though, is don't go out and hire 40 people day one. You don't start there, you end there. Yeah.
And Keith, and this is one, we've been working with the Florida team that has come under us. They had 9 agents last year, no ISA, no transaction coordinator, did 102 transactions. Year to date, they've done 160 transactions. They have 2 in-house ISAs now and 1 transaction coordinator. That's the game changer. Those are the things that are going to help move the needle with your agents. And it's leveraging your agent's time to do what they do best. So looking at it from our big scale, but we started small. We hired 1 ISA.
Is that the same process? ISA first? Okay. What is, just for clarity?
Admin and ISA. I mean, any team leader right now, I mean, that you've got to have a strong, and I know the disparate, like I see a strong admin is going to free up the team leader and the agent's time, and then adding in all of the extras in there.
And then the ISA, since that sounds like the second hire, just we want to get very tactile. So what is that role specifically doing in the beginning, and where does it evolve? Or is it still the same as you guys scaled? So the ISA was after. Okay.
So for me, I was the first ISA because when I started with the team, it was me and 2 agents. I was doing all PPC lead generation. I was the one that was answering the calls. So I was essentially the first ISA because then I would distribute those leads out. And then
and hold
as
accountable.
We grew, Yeah. Well, I couldn't hold them accountable until Debra came along. Then with the next iteration of that was the leads should go direct to the agents, but the agents then wouldn't take those calls, or they wouldn't answer the phone just because they were busy, and they would assume that the next person would get it. So then we went to the overseas ISAs, and then from there we went back to bringing in a licensed ISA that was knowledgeable, really good on the phone. The overseas ISAs, we still retain them because their work ethic is so good, and they do a lot of the heavy lifting behind the scenes for the agents. So
was the big decision for the licensed ISA because they could just have a deeper conversation, which is a better experience for the human being calling about the house or the lead? Was that it, or was it about control, quality? What made you migrate?
No, it's because you wanted to, like, I realized that I was good on the phone because I'm a licensed agent and I'm knowledgeable about the market. So the next best person to take that call was the agent I was going to transfer it to. But then there was a bit of a handoff. It didn't seem right. So then we went to the ISAs, and then realizing that a licensed ISA is who you want to talk to, a realtor, if you call in and you want some knowledge. But now we frame it so that we can,
more elegant
I'm not going to be your agent, but I have enough information and knowledge to make sure that you get assigned or handed off. Or
is that hard to hire for? Is it hard to hire a licensed ISA? Like if they have their, so you default to your own mental patterns, right? So I would think, well, if I have a license, I'll just go be a agent. Like, why would I want to be an ISA with a license?
This is where Debra will talk about this because our first because
ready to jump in.
our
Because
first licensed ISA was just an agent on the team that was doing really well. Wife became pregnant, and they said, I
need benefits and salary, and and we didn't
and then
want
Debra said,
structure,
well, hang
safety.
on.
Yeah.
Maybe we can give that to you in the form of you becoming our first licensed ISA, because he was great on the phone, super smart, super knowledgeable. And then that started the path of the licensed ISA. And I remember saying to him, hey, if you're good at this, I can see you managing and growing the ISA team. And that's how it started. But Debra will give you the scoop.
And every ISA that we hired was a needle mover, a game changer for us. And I think when we really dialed into the ISA avatar, because a lot of team leaders that I talk to, they'll start their agents as an ISA and they'll add 2 or 3. And then all of a sudden their ISAs all want to go become agents at the same time. And then they're stuck without an ISA, and then they have to retrain an ISA. So when we really leaned into the personality type for a really strong ISA that likes to work at home and can make, 800 calls in a week, and is happy doing that and loves doing that and is thriving and having success. When we made that decision to really focus that, our 8 ISAs now all of them have been with us longer than 2 years, years to 7 years. And they're beasts on the phone. I mean, last week, one was on vacation. They still did 4,000 calls last week. It's crazy. It's like, so, and this is where, and I've talked to team leaders about this.
Wait, did you say 4,000?
She did on vacation.
With one that was on vacation. The others did 4,000 calls last week. And this is what keeps us constant, because and it's interesting right now because our Florida team has ISAs, but the leads are going directly to the agents right now. In Nashville, all of our leads go to the ISAs, and only the low-hanging fruit, the appointment sets, go to the agents right now in Nashville. So we're looking at how can we transition the Florida team from leads going directly to the agents to coming into the ISAs, because we're looking at adding 2 more ISAs down there. So and that will be game changers down there, because the ISAs we added, their business is just going through the roof.
I mean, it's a bit of a cliche, but what we're doing is enhancing the consumer's experience, because instead of the lead going to an agent that's running around, oh, I'll take that. It's going to a dedicated person who really wants to delve in, go deep, figure out what their motivation, when you come in, how long you're going to be, all those questions, and then make sure that they're handed off to the right person, or they're nurtured for another 6 months or a year.
And what's interesting, James, because we've been tracking this data, and I think you'll like it, our ISAs, the average amount of touches our ISAs make to a client that transitions into an appointment is 38.
38 touches.
How many agents out in the field do you know will consistently stay the client?
They won't.
Zero.
This is the part that I always find super funny. I have to make something controversial statements, so here we go.
Get ready, audience.
It wouldn't be the podcast.
Here we
if
go.
I didn't.
Go ahead, let it rip, James. Go. Get him.
I hear all of this stupid shit about you're listing your lead, and it's like the reason why it doesn't work is because I say this as lovingly as possible. But 80% of the agents are like running around. They're trying to just they're trying to get stuff done, so they're not going to make 38 touch points. And so, like, what's fascinating to me in this conversation, it's what Zillow did controversially. Not defending them, to be clear, before everybody puts in hate mail. I'm just saying the reason why that they have a specific dedicated buyer's agent to follow up with inquiries is because they recognize that the leads, if there wasn't an organization like yours who's actually handling your own follow-up, so many of those buyers are just going off into never being contacted, never being followed up with, etc. And so 38 touch points, that's like I'm going to pin that. How long of a time frame is that? Just to be clear on that, roughly.
That's a good question. And I need Jude. He tracks that data for us. So I need to ask.
Give me kind of an idea. You think it's like 18 months?
I don't know. I might be able to.
I did read this is years ago.
James.
I I did some research. I used to have a marketing company. We did some research. Actually, I'll apologize in advance, but we reached out to, not a huge statistical sample, but we reached out to a couple hundred Zillow. We filled out online lead forms. I had the team do it, and we tracked the response times from the agents. Let's see. 0% were within a minute. Sub 1% were within 5 minutes. And most were within 48 hours.
And that was before Zillow transitioned its business model to what it is today, correct?
Correct.
Like it was a while ago.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about when it goes directly to an agent, our idea of rapid response, look, real estate's measured on a calendar and the internet's measured on a stopwatch. And those two things are at odds. Okay.
It's a good quote.
And yeah. So when an online lead comes in to a real estate agent, often because we're so busy, all the other things we have going on, we think if we respond within 24 hours, we're doing pretty good. Right. But that's like 900 lifetimes online. Like if someone's filling out.
Yeah. So I discovered, I think I told you I was the first ISA, but the reason was because this will tell you how old I am. If I got an inquiry either through PPC or from a sign call, I would have that email. You then forward it to my pager. So I get a pager and then I would call that person back within seconds. And then it was always a little awkward to start with because like, damn, I didn't realize you were going to call.
Right.
But because I was knowledgeable and responsive, I always say it's like you're talking behind a brick wall.
Yeah.
And you start taking the bricks down one at a time. You start to engage with that person. They start to see you as a valuable resource. And then by the end of the call, they would always go, oh, I'm so glad you called. This has been fantastic.
Right.
And that's how I built my
They just want to
base.
talk to a human being because it's like you call Verizon, you're ever going to be on the phone, you want to throw your phone out the window. If they get somebody on the phone, they're actually developing a relationship with you.
Correct.
All right. We got a lot of questions and I want to make sure we get through as many of these as we can. So I'd love to hear how you guys differentiate yourself from in Nashville, I'm assuming it's thousands of other agents in your area. So give us some background on like how you guys position your team to the market and like, what does that look like?
This is Beagle.
No, this is GA. I can say it, but this was really, it's GA. I mean, it's Gary's just, the passion with the Predators. And he said, when we had the opportunity to become the real estate partner for the Nashville Predators, we leaned into that. We did it. He came up with the slogan, "Don't sell without the intel," which was brilliant. We use that across and now that's in Florida. We're expanding that. Don't sell without the intel.
I can't take credit for that one.
I know.
That was actually the advertising agency, but
you wrote the check.
I was the genesis of the idea. The reason behind it, because I wanted the agency to come up with something to explain, because we have so much inbound traffic. We do a lot of SEO. We're number one with
Let's go
Realtor.com.
deep here because this is kind of a follow-up anyway. How are you generating that business? So tell everybody like what you guys are doing to generate all of this inbound.
Oh, so for a long time, it was just focusing more on the SEO side of things. So I was one of the first ones to do PPC. And then
PPC is
realized
pay-per-click, just in case anybody doesn't know. Keep going.
Well, like one of the first real estate websites in 2004. Gary was online lead gen before anybody was doing it.
We were early on for sure. Yeah. And so from PPC, I realized that is renting your space on Google. Whereas if you use SEO, that's actually building a strong foundation. So you're always going to be in the search results. So spent a lot of money on that, developing our website. We use a real estate webmasters site for all of that. And from there, that led to doing, we did a lot of stuff with sports marketing. So we were sponsored with the Titans, the NFL team, which again raised our profile. So every Titans game, instead of having a suite, we ended up doing a tailgate. Like pre-game. So as people came into the stadium, they would see this. I had an RV. I wrapped that and it said Remax Advantage. And we'd have all these events pre-game at the barbecues. Yeah. Hamburgers, hot dogs. So that helped raise our profile, which I didn't realize how many people knew of us because of that tailgate, whether they came in or not. It was just raising that profile. And then from there...
Can I say one little thing on this with the Titans?
Sure.
Because this is funny. And this is where I think the genius level comes in on it. And he's going to laugh. But when we got the Titans sponsorship, when you do a sponsorship with an NFL or NHL team, the normal route is to do a suite or get tickets inside.
Right.
Gary opted for real estate space at the end of the walking bridge. He got an acre at the end of the walking bridge and took like less seats inside, like four, like, you know, so, and he had the vision of doing this wrapped RV as a billboard at every tailgate at these NFL. So the gazillion people that walk across, and all I was like, can't we have the suites in there? He was like, no, we're going to take, and then in the rain, we'd have this, but he was really thinking outside the box in how he can reach the most amount of people about our brand and about who we are.
You know, what's interesting is we did a podcast with someone who took the inverted approach of just picking 100 people and deeply investing in those 100 people, right?
We talked about that.
This is coming, actually. This podcast is coming out soon. Yeah.
And I think in some ways you've sort of, he's an inch wide and a mile deep, right? And this is an example of going an inch deep and a mile wide. You weren't trying to figure out how to get 12 seats and we'll invite 12 people. How can I get 1.2 million people to see my brand on their way to and from a football game, right? And I'm not saying either one is right or wrong. What's beautiful is both work. Both work. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. Super interesting.
And then the other good thing, which is so cool, is because he sees things from that perspective in the tech and the pay-per-click and the pay-per-click and the SEO, but and then my side is always about knowledge, the customer experience, highest level. These are agent careers. These aren't jobs. This is a profession, and we treat every agent that joins our brokerage is full-time and committed to this as a business. So when you couple the tech and all of this with the highest level of service is what we get. You get us.
Let me ask you this. Can I ask you, and you can decline, to be clear, you're welcome to.
No, you can't.
Are you willing to share like what percentage of your budget you spend on advertising? I want to just preface why I'm asking this question. I find that I tell agents numbers and they look at me like I'm crazy when I'm like, you should be spending X of your commission to get more business. And so can you give us like some insight on like the way you guys organize that to go continue
this
to broaden?
This will be Debra's probably.
I have no clue.
Gary generates leads in his sleep. He literally does. So
I have no clue.
Cool thing. But and this is for team leaders because I talk about this operationally. And when you look at spend, and it's more about if you're going to spend $5,000 a month, you're going to have to bring in at least 15 to 20 off of that because you got to cover your spend. You got to pay your agent. You got to make some money. And, you want, a lot of people will tell you need to be at a 10X on return of what you're spending a month. In the real world at the scale that we're doing, if we're hitting a 4X return, I'm happy. So I'm looking across. He starts spending, we start adjusting things. We might dial back on this and this.
Sure.
And I don't get as granular on the cost per lead and that. I just know we have so many leads coming in and I'm looking at what we're spending per month and where are we on our return. So,
okay, so let's dig onto that real fast just for time. Okay. So you've got the Titans, you doing lead gen? I'm assuming the answer is yes. So where are your lead gen?
So we don't have the Titans. We're
not Titans anymore.
The Titans wanted way too much when they started doing well and they wanted to 5X on the so we just focus on the Predators with this false marketing.
Got it. Okay.
We're 100% with we do some radio. PPC we do a little. I think there's lots of pies, but probably the biggest ones are the outdoor marketing, which is billboards, which is I always call those like social backlinks, but it's something that you see as you're driving around. You can't do that billboard campaign and have one. We have close to 100, and we've been doing it for 5 or 6 years now.
That's interesting.
So as you drive in,
smart, but here's another thing. He got smart, and we picked up remnants. And what that does is every time a billboard opens up, we get it, and then we pop because we move all over town. So that was one of the.
What's a remnant? What's a remnant? You said you picked up remnants. What does that mean?
So if you have a campaign and you have your campaign is for 4 weeks, and
Somebody
then
else.
nobody's going to use that billboard for the next couple of weeks, so we can get onto that.
So you're filling
Once
the
we're
gaps.
on,
We're
Yeah.
filling the gaps and we're
if
popping all
somebody
of
hasn't booked that billboard for the future, then we stay on it
Until someone does.
yeah.
Brilliant.
Smart.
So we have a lot of rotation. Yeah.
I have a couple of things I want to double click
online
on.
lead
Oh,
gen?
no, go ahead.
Just
James.
real quick, just to finish on that.
good.
Online
Yep.
lead gen, are you guys doing anything there?
Well, I would say
You mean like
Realtor.com
Google,
is our online.
Realtor.com,
Okay.
we're 100% of Nashville market, and we're at 80% down in Daytona right now.
We do
Got
PPC with some with Ylopo. We do some of our own PPC where, like I
But
said, we got
Realtor.com
fingers
is
in
one of the
lots.
biggest sources for you guys. Is
Well,
that
for
a
me,
fair-
how are you what are you doing PPC for? You trying to get people who are searching for homes, or
Yeah.
why not go to the
Right.
source,
Where people are already searching.
Realtor.com? Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we can
Okay.
develop that association, that brand equity, so they see us as the partners of Realtor.com, so we're elevated from the consumer's point of view. These guys must be good because they're partnered with Realtor.com.
Okay. All right.
There's
Keith, you want to double click on something?
I do. There's a through line to this conversation that you both understand each other's greatness, and that's really
Yes.
powerful in a team. And you also are comfortable. Let me give you what I wanted to double click on. Gary, you mentioned it in passing as sort of a throwaway line. You're like, I can't take credit for that. There was the advertising agency. And for some reason that sparked me, because most real estate professionals consider themselves brilliant marketers. And Gary, I actually think you're a really, really good marketer. Like, you're smart, you're good at it, you know the space, you truly are a good marketer. Not everyone in the industry is, yet you still felt the need to go to an advertising agency because I'm speaking for you. I want both of your thoughts on this, but here's something that's already a core competency for you, but you're like, I'm good, they're great. Let me go touch greatness to figure out how to position my company in the right way so that we can be successful.
So I'll tell you how that came about. So we were buying radio space.
Okay.
I didn't feel like the company that was doing a good job. So I said, I'm going to go in and I'm going to negotiate and I'm going to get the best deal. So that's what I did. And I thought I was doing a good job. And then my buddy, Chris Lindell, is up in Minneapolis. He had an agency called Media Bridge, and he said, you should let these guys take a, and they did. They came in and they said, if you give us the same budget, we can pretty much double your exposure because you're paying through the nose here. It's kind of like for sale by owner. You know, you think, I can sell that house. I don't need a realtor.
How hard is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
Smart.
came in and absolutely crushed it. And then for me, it was all about how do we get this messaging out that we generate so many leads. We have so much traffic to the site. We can see the insights of what buyers are doing. So if you want to sell your house, why not work with us? Because we can maximize your exposure because we're going to show you how many people are coming to the site per day and things like that.
Yeah.
And they came up with don't sell without the intel, which I thought was genius. So I can't take credit for that.
That's okay. But you did seek the guidance, which is something, the expert guidance. All right,
And,
sure.
and that's the other thing. And I think where GA is so good is on the tech side, especially. It's like, where's the future? Where are we going? Where are we 5 years from now? And what technologies developed that we can integrate? And we're fortunate and very blessed because we get to beta test a lot of stuff. He's made connections and he's really good at spotting. And what's interesting is just by osmosis, I get to, GA would like that, or, or this or that. So, I think that is just being open to change and embracing new technologies. But then he does that, and then I've got to figure how are we going to get the people to use it. So
Let me jump in here because I think this is a really interesting conversation, this last part. So one of the things I want to make a comment about is you both are at real estate events all the time. And the people that are listening to this, I want them to really pay attention. You are all getting to hear from some of the top people in the entire US. and they are attending more events than most of you attend.
Right.
And I'm saying that as politely as possible, but Gary is humble. Debra, you're humble. You guys are there. You're to learn. You're trying to figure out new things. I see you at events all the time. And I meet agents that are doing, 1/100th of production. Like, I don't have the time. It's like, you're missing it. You're not actually like opening yourself up to new ideas. Which leads me to this question. So it's going to be two-tier just for kind of time's sake. Number one is, what is your current tech stack, since you get to see everything? I know you guys get to beta stuff because of how big you are. Can you give kind of like, this is what we use, where we're at today, so people have a little bit of insight on how your systems operate? I mean, Gary mentioned Real Estate Webmasters for your website, but like, what's your CRM system? What's your internal system for, do you Slack? Like, how does that operate internally? Maybe that's more for you, Debra.
We have, there's so much. So we're Follow Up Boss, we're Slack, we've got Shiloh, we use Ylopo, we use Maverick.
Broker Wolf.
The unfortunate thing is, this is the blessing and the curse, is that I'm a shiny object guy, but I think you always see the value in something. So I will go, that's awesome. Or Debra will go, that's awesome. And then we bring it back to Scott, who's our sales director and tech genius. Ask him to plug it all together. So we do test a lot of stuff that, we're using House Whisper. I think I said we're using Shiloh.
Yeah.
Biggest game changers, guys. I'm telling you, the Shiloh, the 24.
Yeah, if there was one tool you wanted someone to pay attention to, what would it be?
Okay, I look at something for difference. So to me, the Shiloh, the 24/7 ability to self-coach as an agent.
It's a really cool program.
Like real time on your call, giving you action items, helping you leverage your time. You could be doing things in the car and not having to be taking notes because it's integrated into your CRM and it's putting it with the lead. House Whisper, the virtual assistant, again, another game changer. Just little things like with that, on a listing appointment, you just turn on your assistant there, and it's taking notes for you as you're having your appointment and walking around, and then giving you action items at the end, and the home highlights already transcribed for you. Those are game changer technologies now for agents in the field.
Yeah, and we use call action. Call action enables us to scale
Jesse's company
to deal with the volume of leads and follow up on long-term nurture.
All right. I've got one more question before our last question. Because at some point we have to put a bow on this. We could go for hours with the two of you.
There's some more tech.
Yeah, I'm sure. Maybe actually, would you mind sending us a list of your tech stack and we can put it in the show notes?
Yeah.
Just whatever you'd be comfortable sharing.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that way
people I will say too, you guys, the other thing as a team leader, because this is for teams, you have to know your spend and your money as a business and operating. Maverick's a great software system. I forecast, I look at how much is company retained, how much is going to the agents. I know months out of what we've got on the books. So knowing your expenses, knowing your return on revenue, knowing all of that, which a lot of team leaders, they just know we did this many transactions in this much volume. Right. They have no clue. Yeah. So anyway.
So it's operating as a business, and that's what we do with Realtor.com. We train 10 teams a quarter that Realtor.com sends us, because they want those teams to grow and
get
prosper
better
and convert, but also to learn how to focus on treating their business as a business.
All right. So here's my question. So, you've mentioned radio. You've mentioned billboards. You've mentioned pay-per-click. You've mentioned the Titans. You've mentioned the Predators. You've mentioned all these things. There's some people listening who are going, bro, like, I don't even know how to start to do any one of those things. What if there was an individual agent who doesn't know how to go pitch sports teams, right? Doesn't have a budget today for radio spend. What advice, if someone wanted to build what you're building in their local market, and they're a successful agent, they're making a full-time living selling houses, they've maybe got an assistant, how do they get from where they are today to where you are now? Or what's the first step in that process?
This is Beagle.
Okay. Well, and this is where, a little bit of risk and and accountability and tracking everything. Because again, when you spend, there is a period of time when we got into realtor.com, we were committed for a full year and we knew it was going to take time to get those leads in our system. So we committed this amount of budget and then we watched it and goodness, it started to turn and return quicker. So then we got a little more aggressive and started putting a little more money towards
Smart.
it. And that's where, it has to be long-term play. You have to make a commitment.
I think that's the difference with team leaders sometimes and agents is you're willing to go to Vegas and you're willing to go all in. Like
push it in.
Push because as soon as you start spending, you're losing.
Right.
So you
start in a hole because you wrote a check.
You start in a hole. So you know that you're incubating and developing for the future. So I guess that's the difference that we
committed.
Knew we were spending a lot, but we had the systems in place. And that was something that developed and grew over time, the relationship with Realtor.com. I truly see that as a partnership because they listened to what we were saying because some of the blame was on Realtor.com.
Sure.
Some of the blame was on us, but it was very much a collaborative experience to improve the whole process. And
Debra,
you start small. You start small and you look, and the other thing is when other people pull back and off the gas, we push forward on the pedal and go and we grab. So we have been strategically, we've been in good positions to where something has come down in price and we've been able to get a better price because people were backing off.
Right.
So we grab when others retract.
Yeah.
So that's just something we've done. But you can start. You can say I have a $5,000 budget, and if you're a team, a single agent or a small team, but you're sending this many deals to title, that you're sending this many deals, you can get some marketing assistance. There's different things, but you commit to $5,000 a month, you're going to spend in lead generation, but you got to track those leads. You got to hold the agents accountable. You have to just not start blowing money. You need to you've got to treat it like a business. And if you're going to commit to 5,000 times 6 months, that's 30 grand. You got to know you're going to do it and then not just spend it and give leads to agents and not track it.
Right. There's power. What I heard from you, Debra, is there's power in knowing your numbers. And then you've mentioned your P&L, your ROI, and accounting is the language of money. And if you don't speak the language of money, odds are you're not going to be very good with it. And so what I heard you say is if you want to grow from wherever you are today to where you want to be, you've got to know your numbers, get a P&L going, know where your money's coming in, know where your money's going out. The amount of agents out there, and I'm going to just be honest, I was one of them when I was selling. Money in the bank, I'm good. Not money in the bank, I better sell a house, right? For a lot of folks, that's their approach to the accounting of their business. And if there's a way to level up and to differentiate yourself, learning the language of money would be a real powerful way to do that. That's a great share. All right, James, you want to take us on?
Yep. I just wanted to say the one thing I picked up from all that, a lot of things, but the one that really stuck with me was I think the agents are looking for instant gratification, instantly. And what I'm carrying the through line is, you got to be prepared to stick with something for a while too, work it, make it work, try with it. Like you said that you were collaborative with Realtor.com. It sounds like some things didn't work in the beginning, but now it is.
Correct.
And so I hear agents all the time be like, I tried direct mail for a month. It didn't work. It's like, oh my God. Yeah, no, really. You're right. You're serious? It didn't work. So, you're saying 6 months to a year, be prepared to do that. I'm going to leave you with this. Just one question, and it can be quick. Do you think the future is teams? Do you think individual agents can still thrive in the future? Or do you think that this scaling under teams is a future? I know it's a really tough question to answer, and I'm not trying to piss everybody off, but what's your take there?
You talked on a previous pod that I listened to about one of the pods that's coming up, about the one guy. You said that just focuses on his
100
sphere
people
or his 100 connections. I haven't heard that podcast yet, but I'm really looking forward to hearing that because that is an example of, I guess that's old school, is it?
Yeah.
And it's essentially, it's relationships and
Their entire business by referral.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Yes.
So that to me proves that one person can do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, but the teams have the ability to leverage technology. They can scale. And then
Yeah.
to your point, James, about people just want immediacy and success quickly. That's what you can get with the team, because I always said when somebody joined the team, I don't know when you're going to get your first deal, but I can guarantee you will get first deal. And I would always say I can compress 2 years worth of real estate into 6 months.
Yeah.
Now we're at the point where we're compressing 2 years of real estate into, I don't know, weeks sometimes. Because if the agent has the right mindset, they can take all of those opportunities and appointments that we give them and convert them. And they just, at the end of the day, you still have to work. You still have to have all the skills about developing relationships, knowledge, and things like that.
But to your point,
and the nature too of it, I think, and this is where we would be individual successful agents. We have agents on our team that have been with us 10, 15 years that, $500,000 take home, $750,000 take home. They are top producers, could be individual agents. No question. We choose to be together. We're stronger together, and we're not alone. We have a lot of resources. We have a lot of opportunities to grow personal business, work, with the predators or, lead gen.
It's the power of the team. It's the
really
cliche, but it's true.
Yeah.
And it's, and don't tell without the intel. So and this now with yesterday. Well, and this is the interesting thing, because now we're not even just thinking about agents wanting to be together as a team. We're looking at teams and teams. We have this team in Florida that we're just stronger together as a team and a team. We can help their pain points as they grow and help them grow. And we're just stronger together. So it's exciting. We're excited about it.
All right, Gary, I'm going to text you my address because I need some Predators merch. So holler at your boy. Okay.
Well, you're always talking about Nashville. You need to come and spend some time there.
Well, that was part 2 of this conversation. I've got a few things I got to clean up over the next few months at home. But as soon as we're done with that, find me a rental. We are coming for a while. So stay ready. All right.
All right, Keith.
Deborah, Gary, thank you both so much for being here and sharing with everybody. I know it was a lot to pack in the short amount of time, but in the show notes for everybody, we'll have a list of their tech stack and anything else that they're willing to share we didn't cover today, so you guys can learn more about it. They're also very generous people, so you can see them in hallways or run out to them. They'll be happy to answer questions.
And maybe give us some contact information, whether it's your IG handle or whatever. Don't put your email out.
We'll put social media in there.
Debra Beagle. Debra Beagle on IG. Debra Beagle on Facebook.
We'll put it in the chat. We'll put it in the show notes too.
Gary.Ashton, I think it is.
Okay. We'll put it in the show notes too.
Thanks again for being here. We appreciate you.
You guys were awesome.
Talk to you soon. Okay.
Bye.
Thanks again for joining us on this episode. Subscribing now keeps us away from starting that new multi-level marketing trend.